This was up Scotty. It was like forever not seeing Katie. Like, oh, it's been a few days. A few busy days. Then I got a bit ill as well. Like a massive, well, it was just ill. A massive headache for like 2 days too. So I could have technically streamed yesterday evening, but it wasn't gonna happen. It was not gonna happen. Okay, so I'm gonna catch up to that in a bit. But first, I suppose one natural thing to do do you have a gem? I do have a gem. Do I use a gem or do I use a catalyst? I'll use catalyst. Well then, are we better off now? Oh wait. It is the December time though. Ugh. Okay, so we fixed that. I'm actually running out of my tier 2 dust for now. But what I just did is I yoinked this. So you need a Wolverine relic for this, right? I'm not running him right now anyways. Can we get an incursion run? Why? We already did. I'm gonna pick Kingpin, yeah. Okay, fine. Let's test this out. The airport, some more travel. Well, here's the thing, Meteor Sam. I really hope you went to the toilet. What is the second week GC meta about? I'm considering my next ramp up. Any suggestions? Well, it's basically gonna be in 1 second. Short. It's increased combat power rate up until 2 bars of power. You get a power sting every time you fill a bar of power. And there's something else. 1 second. Oh, I need to enable this too. The Streamlabs chatbot on. Okay, and I'm playing 12 times with the same text and try to work. Well, I don't know, given how many close calls there have been, whether that's luckily or not. Alright, so BG season, upcoming meta. I'll make a video on it, don't worry though. Power axis 2, so you have increased combat power rate up until 2 bars of power. Stung me once, twice shy. Every time you fill a bar of power, you get a power sting for 6 seconds. And then crouching root. Hello, Pencil X23. Nothing like dominating a plane target. Come on. Is okay, so my first impressions. So purify and gain control. No, what do you mean recommended decision? We do not know what happened to the base compensation. Am I a nice guy? Try to be. When appropriate. I don't think it's a guy's. I don't think you should live your life trying to be a nice guy. I think it is important for a man to be able to be cold and not nice, but not do so indiscriminately and without a reason. I think you shouldn't be deliberately mean or evil to somebody. You should not always be nice either. I went 3 for science and skill rank on just ready for community score. Nice, good for you. That's very, very good. But yeah, external. Okay, so I'm gonna mess around with external buff later on a bit. What do you guys think of external buff? What do you guys? Her region from like the one clip they watched seems quite shit. And I can't say that I was like blown away by the capabilities of her offensive. Yeah, not trying to kind of like bury the champion before she's properly released, but I find it difficult to see her as like a meta relevant champion. I'll put it like that. I think if you need like a mutant offensive kind of like hacker, then Deadpool X was like way better choice. But you know, we'll see. That said, we need to get some units. And eviscerating stun, you drop 4 light attacks once you have over 100 enrage. The more enrage you have, the longer it goes on, basically. And marked is bugged, it doesn't work against Snake. Well, that's dumb. Slinger. Yeah, like even if she was better on attack than she appears to be, I had a difficult time seeing her being meta relevant because of how many dual purpose mutants are up there. that are just quite frankly better. And because, you know, then she still has to compete with like Dazzler and Deadpool X-Force and stuff. So back to what now? Which medium are we hating? I'm not hating. And like, why does everybody use language like that? Not hating. Okay? Just pondering. Evaluating. But it's extended 3 buff. Farming Awakening? Oh, because you can restart and write until you land on the last one? Oh shit. Oh no, we're fine. Apparently, I have been told that if you land on a path you don't like, you can restart. There's very low chance landing. Yeah, I mean, it's gonna take a few tries. Now the 26 on the maker, congratulations. Yeah, you get it back from restarting, apparently. But it's still good, yeah. Yeah, I definitely want to know when I'm going to be getting my Sensor crystals. Well, you're welcome. Well, if you had been constipated for a while and then got the runt, it could be a source of congratulations. You never know. Maybe you're trying to sig the maker up. You want to do Water Rank 4 and Tech Gem? I wouldn't rush to do that. If the... Yeah, I wouldn't rush to do that. Well, maybe if he's super high sig, you can start liking more. And no news as far as I know from the compensation committee. Oh, you evil wanker. With this one. Are you a fan of Maker? Not personally, I am not hugely enthusiastic about the Maker. Maker is the type. Here's the thing. Maker is the type champion that's currently annoying me that people around can use him, because I know for a fact he's shit and he's like one good tech champion release away from being irrelevant forever. The only reason Maker has any visibility in game is the Captain Britain being such a bitch right now. And it's kind of like, I look at him at kind of like at the... I used to look at Hulk Ragnarok. He's a shit champion through and through. But there's like this one thing he does, and until there's somebody that does it better, you kind of, you know, end up going to him. So that is how I view the Maker right now. He's like the new age Hulk Ragnarok. You know he's shit. I know he's shit. Everybody knows he's shit. That you just use him for like that one thing because there's no better alternative. And then there are the people like we had with Hulk Ragnarok as well that go and says like, no, he's fucking amazing. I'm like, no, he ain't. Alaikum salam. Jack does Captain Britain well, yes. Make it does better though. That's often the case with Kabam though. Like if you take a look at the first champion that can root the opponent, Craven, right? Absolutely relevant. And then they make, you know, some champions that are not. Like Craven is the first one with the traps, I think, because I think Rinker is the first one to it. But you kind of get the point. Kabam always kind of does that. When there's the first champion that does something, there's gonna be like Patriot is the first champion with the whole retaliate thingy, right? Reversal or whatever it's called. And then you get Yelena. I'm sure we will. Well, Nico and her expected matchups ain't that slow to begin with. Plus, Nico has defensive value, which Maker does not. So that's like a massive difference. At least would be to me. And Nico counters more. Nico like shreds the entire class. First Yelena or Kingpin. Like, here's the thing. I do Kingpin because I have been waiting. Like, I'm not saying that's the best option. I'm just saying I would. I'm sure you will. I'm sure every banker there is a chance to get those suckers. Cassandra is in kind of weird place because I clearly see issues with her kit as well. And it still kind of feels to me that she's slightly incomplete champion. But, you know, Summoner Fest and a few other things, like how good she's on defense in this current meta, have kind of like, you know, reinvigorated her as well. So, I kind of like messing with her as well. I just don't think she's necessarily like good or fast enough, but we'll see how she ages. Because she has quite a lot to compete with as well. Let's not forget that. But yeah, Cassandra's kind of growing on me a little bit too. Until later, my name. Last two banging events, the 4-star versions. Really? No, my bad. I think they were just in the lower crystals. I might be wrong though. I think I am done opening Titan Crystals now. I don't think I have a great reason to open more Titan Crystals. I think it starts on like 19th, right? Or something like that. I think I'm now starting to save for the next Titan too. Because yeah, I'm missing like Dracula and Silver Samurai and Frankencastle, but... yeah, I got Lizzie and Cassie. I wanted Cassie too. And I do have Mr. Knight, which I really don't care about. Yeah, I think so, I did, yeah. Should be. Probably should be in the next one. Karen Gulag Woods? Ah. Who knows? Is it possible to grind 10k units from Idle Bank? Yeah, basically. It is, if you grind very, very hard. Because there's going to be the special New Year's arenas and stuff like that. I think it's going to last till the beginning of January. Yeah, I think you can do it. Or close to it. He's pretty solid. I'm sure he is, like, I have seen some cool stuff with Frankie as well. I'm sure he's solid, but I don't think he's good enough. Like, because again, there are like 3-4 different levels of champions, like in my mind. Number one is like meta-relevant champions. Champions that you will see in like the BG decks used by, you know, most of the competitive players. And those are going to be the champions that you need to strategize your defenses over. And those are the defenders that you need to learn how to defeat. And those are the champions that ultimately are at the highest tier because they are the best. And then there's a whole bunch of champions that are great or fun, but not quite... you know, that don't do things quite as fast, or they don't have quite as many matchups as you'd want them. And those are the same champions that typically become very good in like some very specific metas. Like, for instance, you know, invade meta, you know, Yondu is gonna pop up in the fucking invade meta. You can guarantee that. Yondu invade meta is gonna be like amazing type of time. But I wouldn't say that Yondu is like in that, you know, meta range, at least not for now. And that is, you know, that other tier where a lot of people love those champions for many different reasons. And in general, they're just not quite up there in basic kind of settings. And then under specific nodes, specific combinations, or for very specific reasons, they do get kind of like used. Then there is like the third tier of champions, which, you know, are capable of doing things, just not good enough in general. And the last one is just outdated and garbage dumps. Like, you know. Are we getting this for market? Probably. I think you can still join new alliance for market, yes. That very fast, 40-second fights. Fair enough. I mean, I might need to check it out, but again, I'm kind of doubtful. Still on Frankie. Is Imperios a release? In 6 hours, really? Oh, nice. I actually don't think I can get her immediately. I don't think I have enough of those thingies. I need to check. I might be interested in ranking Imperiosa fast too, because she seems to be like a 4 out of 5 defender. Could be useful. 18 tokens. So somebody's been buying the weekly deals. Need to check how many tokens I have. We need 12, right? Do we see that here? No, we don't. Do we see them here? I'm at 10. Yeah, so I can't get her. Much better than Dracula. Well, to be fair, Dracula has been getting the hard shot. So yeah, I'm missing 2 of those token thingies. Need to see where I can still earn them. But I'm quite sure I would need to buy one of the deals anyways. You must have bought... I think I bought 1 or 2. But, well, no, actually, I think I bought 1. Because you get 1 for C5 finish and stuff. So I've done that. Yeah, I got 1 for C5 finish and I got 1 for the... Oh, that's it. I got the double track thingy. That was like 1. Because you have 1 there. And you get C5 finish. That also gives you... I think that's what I got the 2. So I don't think I actually bought any of the weekly deals. Dracula is very cool. I like him too. I don't have him as a 6-star or 7-star, but I enjoy him. Like, I use my 4-star for like arenas and stuff and mess around with him. And I do like him, man. I don't think he's like great, but I like him. House versus rank 6 Punisher? Dracula is a gulag word though nowadays. Because for no other reason other than I kind of like him and I don't have him. Because that is the one champion I wanted to get before I stop opening Titans. Really, how much units will you spend in Banquet? As many as I have? All of them. Any news? Obviously there are no news. Nico is not a gulag word. That is true. Can Okoye take on Serb in this meta in 37 seconds? No. I don't think, at least so. With some insane... I don't think so. Steel Serpent? Who the fuck is that? Sounds like some sort of hardcore dildo. Steel Serpent. Alright, let's see what you do. How much damage you take back? Not much. Count Nefaria is attacker largely. He can be annoying on defense in some instances. The Sevens one of those immortal. That's what a lady with the hardcore equipment would say. Iron Fist. Oh, okay, cool. Steel Serpent is a filthy name, though. Okay, at the very least it can be. But thank you for educating me. Never mind. Hey, it was right there. Steel Phoenix. Okay, that sounds a little bit more harder to dirty up. Hulkling fits in the BG meta these days. There's a lot more defenders he can't take. Yeah, I am quite worried about Hulkling. I'm not going to lie. List of stuff he cannot do well is kind of exceedingly high. Still 7 got the super name. He could be, but I doubt. No, I don't think so because he's scheduled for January release, right? So I don't think it will be. What about Abs? I think Abswan's fine. Abswan will have a place in the game because, you know, Abswan can be like a defensive placement as well, not as strong as he used to be, but still there's some defensive value there. Plus he does do the Serpent and Dark Phoenix fights reasonably well, so I think you're gonna be Gucci on that. Blue Marvel could be, based on timeline, Blue Marvel could be a flat track champ. I would rather have an extra energy. Yeah, I think everybody would agree with that. Especially after playing with that extra energy buff, I'm really not taking it back. The deep dive and whatnot kind of like look a lot more exciting. The regions, the region immediately I noticed that it's gonna be shit as I was reading the ability breakdown. Then past that, even the damage doesn't seem like crazy. Which means she's just gonna be like a situational fun type of champion for, like, you know, something. I don't see her being like a BG champion. Good defender. She's a dual purpose. She can be annoying on defense, but she's not like the toughest defender. And then on attack, she, you know, is okay too. It's kind of like Dust, let's say. She can be annoying defense. She can be decent attack. Yeah, if after the initial like deep dives that we showed, for instance, Imperiosa looked way cooler than the... Sorry, Imperiosa looked way shittier than the X23 did. Now, 2 points of knowledge that Imperiosa is like 4 out of 5 defender, and having, you know, messed around with X23 a bit, I'm like, you know, give me Imperiosa instead. You want to come and tell us that changed in the game? Since I know the game was... Well, I'm gonna tell you exactly what changed. There are like 10 meta defenders that Hulkling can't do shit against anymore. Because when Kabam said Hulkling's like too strong and too goated and stuff like that, part of it was based on the fact that Hulkling used to be the most dominant Battlegrounds champion. As in like the most drafted, the most used, and the one that, you know, got very high scores and win rates. That's like the only bit of kind of like champion statistics that Kabam ever actually released. They specifically called out Hulkling being the most drafted champion with high win percentages and stuff like that. The thing that changes, he won't be anymore, because now there's like 6 new mystics that will absolutely rinse through him like nobody's business, as well as the fact that he can't do, you know, most of the hard defenders now. He can do only the defenders that he used to be able to do anyways, like Onslaughts and Photons and whatnot, when people still used him. But, you know, Serpent, Dark Phoenix, Captain Britain, all that shindig, Hulkling is gonna suck against, so he's gonna have significantly less impact than he used. Let's see, joining. Yeah, Fing Fang Foom. I want Fing Fang Foom in the game. But yeah, so that's the basic thing. You know, what good is your Hulkling gonna be against Dark Phoenix and Serpent and whatnot? He's not even gonna be particularly great against like Zola and shit. I think we really need Spider-Man. Yeah, shut up. Need to happen for us to get CGI. No, I think CGI is under a different type of embargo rule. Because Battlegrounds is not the only place where Kabam look at the game impact. Stuff like Alliance Wars and whatnot. And, you know, the difference in between, like, Hulkling and Galen, let's say, and stuff like that, is that they have their limits in terms of damage output. And CGR is just ridiculous when it comes to nuking things without, you know, getting in the actual fights. That's one thing. Because CGR's, you know, limit is higher than Hulkling and Galen. It just is. Like, you toss up a proper rotation, you can do like 1 million damage in like 2 combos. So I don't think CGR is coming to the game ever, unless adjusted. Unless they give him magic treatment. I don't think Kabam would release CGR to begin with, because of how high his damage ceiling is. And the other thing is, just out of pure happenstance, like a big-ass old CGR still nukes the Serpents, the Dark Phoenixes, and a whole bunch of other champs. So I think even for that to happen, assuming I'm wrong and Kabam's perfectly kind of willing to release CGR, CGR still answers more than Hulkling does today. It's kind of like, I think Galen, for instance, still has maintained more value than Hulkling has, because Galen can deal with a whole bunch of like newer age bullshit problems, like, you know, Yelena, for instance, and whatnot. But with CGR as well, like with a big CGR, you can nuke down a Serpent, for instance, because of the Fate Seal, and you know, you can bypass the Immortality too if you time it up. And with big CGR, you can nuke down. With big CGR, you can nuke down Dark Phoenix, for instance. I didn't test it out in 5 to 6 meta, but I saw people were running 6-star CGR already. Yep, I just want to get my crystals too, guys. I am waiting for my crystals too. Since I create 100k Kabam off, of course not. I don't have 100k. If I had 100k, I would buy a house for my family. I mean, maybe. No, I don't think, like, here's what I think. I think Kabam overestimates the impact, and at the very least players wouldn't mind, or players would love it. And that's one of the things that Kabam is getting wrong. We don't want like a perfectly balanced game. We like big yellow numbers, we like wonky things, as long as they are like fun and enjoyable, right? And we like cheesy things, for instance. You know, that's why Kitty Pryde I don't think is ever coming as a 7-star, because Kabam doesn't ever want anybody to do the whole level 3 cheese thing with Kitty, because Kabam hates things like that. If you notice, for instance, Kabam also limits or removes any cheese tactic available from any champion that they do rework on. Hulk is a good example. Previously, you could synergize Hulk up with increased ability accuracy, where you basically infinitely stun opponents. It's just a thing you could do. You could, with that, you know, give him a synergy team, you're going to be able to infinitely stun opponent like 99% of the time. Kabam hated that, so his stun gets shorter every time, so you can still kind of stun loop it for regular fights, but you can't do it indefinitely, thus you can't use like a 5-star Hulk to nuke down whatever. They did the same thing with Luke Cage, right? Luke Cage's stun is also getting shorter and shorter, and you need to have thrown that level 2 in order to be able to do that. With Luke Cage, you could also effectively make sure that you can go into infinite stun loop. Especially, you know, with Indestructible, you can just eat level 3 and keep going. And there are more and more of these mechanics that whenever Kabam touches a champion that had a cheese mechanic, it goes away. Well, I don't having less men. What? I wouldn't call it a problem. Like, people exaggerate that. Like, first of all, is it true that there are more women in the country than men? Yes, it is true. Is it true that, you know, a woman would struggle finding a man here no more so than a man would struggle finding a woman here? The reasons for disparity is because men in Latvia, on average, die earlier, yeah? That's 1. And, you know, at some points in life, a lot more men kind of like emigrate to different countries. But if you look at, for instance, the birth rates and everything else, it's not what you think, guys. Like, okay, what's the best way to put it? If you're over 50 and looking for a bachelorette, come to Latvia. You're gonna have your pickings. That is true. If you're under 50 and you think this is gonna be the land where there's like hardly any men, yeah, no, it's not like that. The statistical difference largely comes from people of certain age. Do you get it now? We have less old men. But we have enough young men. But this is like 4th time somebody's asked me recently. Okay, so let me explain this. I'm gonna bring it up so you guys can understand it kind of clearly. You see, all of this around up until here, it's fairly equal, right? So men and women up until, let's say, this age bracket. And over like 50 and 60 is where ladies start to dominate. That's why there's a big difference. Like, for instance, 20-24 age group, you know, there's more men. 15 to 19, there's slightly more men. 30 to 34, I think it's about equal. So if you're like 60 and you're looking for, like, you know, nice ladies, come on over. Otherwise, you're gonna be disappointed. I am not growing the beard back. I'm gonna be shaving today. Stop jiggling. So it's one of those things on Facebook. It's technically true, but it's absolutely not what you think. It is true that Latvia has one of the highest amount of models per capita, though. That's why men die so young in this country. See gorgeous ladies walking around us all day, every day, and at a certain age, the heart just gives out. Okay. At certain age, then just suck the life out of the man. I mean, that's also perfectly feasible, honestly. It's like, there's this saying in Latvia that it's not that women can live longer than men. It's just that men choose not to live as long because of the women. Latvia is my dream place, I'm gonna lie. Latvia is a very nice place, man. Latvia is a wonderful place. Oh, come on, Slinger. The thing is, if you have a means to support yourself, kind of like, well enough, Latvia, in my opinion, is one of the better places in the world to live. Like, if you can get a good job here, or, you know, remote for some, or work for some different company, if you basically have a decent wage, because like the wage problem is still like a thing, because, you know, the pay isn't great here. It's not awful, but if you can support yourself well enough in Latvia, then Latvia is a wonderful place to live, because it isn't obsessed about all the, like, identity politics here is not the thing, like racial issues here is not the thing, and none of that, you know, social fab about 89 pronouns and all that other stuff. It's fairly kind of like, you know, traditional thought process in majority of the people at the very least. And it's nice. We have very nice summers. Winter time is like more annoying and dark, but, you know, we do have 4 beautiful seasons. We do have like couple months where the ground is covered in snow and we can go skiing and snowboarding and stuff. We have beautiful like springs. There's lots of nature. Like half of the Latvian territory is covered in like forests and stuff like that. No, nobody in the country and nobody in politics wants open borders. We don't really have like immigration. Like, again, without sounding nasty, we probably have like 15 black guys in the country. I told that joke to Sith, and he was like legit shocked, because like we found one. Like when we were like traveling across the Latvia, we like met one black guy in the capital. There are some more people, immigrants from like India and Pakistan now, but it's mainly for studies, because like very recently we opened like a study program, and if they are university students, they can live here. And there's like a couple hundred refugees, but even they are like not like particularly common. The only kind of impact and thing that you see from like foreign people really in place of employment right now is that they're all like Uber drivers and stuff. But again, it's not like that all, what's the best way to put it? Like a part of the Uber drivers now look different than we do. But in general, there's no kind of, there's no ethnic minority kind of areas anywhere in the country. Like there's no, I don't know, area where there's only like, let's say, that and that lives and that, because it's all like Latvians. And people don't think that way as well. Send all duped to rank 3? Yeah, absolutely. That's amazing. Why do you leave? Needed money. And besides, UK, when I moved there, was a completely different place as well. Like, in retrospect, it's kind of shocking how much UK deteriorated whilst I was in the country. Because I remember when I first arrived in Manchester, there was no homeless people at all. And like that's kind of the contrast, where when I moved to UK, we still had homeless people in our capital here and there, but not like many. But one of the first things that I noticed in Manchester is like, holy shit, there's like no homeless people around here. It's kind of nice, you know. It's, you know, not bad in the city center. In the surrounding areas, there was like a lot of filth and rubbish on the streets already, which kind of came as a culture shock. But in the capital, in the big city center, there's like no homeless people. And then gradually every year there were more and more homeless people in Manchester city center, to a point where they're like whole kind of like mini cities of homeless people, and you knew which areas to avoid, and you know, Their entire streets were in the length of the streets. There were just like homeless people begging on, and the city center got like increasingly more kind of like hostile and unwelcoming, to a point where in the final years when I was living in Manchester, I went to city center like 2 or 3 times a year when I needed to do like some very specific shop to go, like, you know, do something like that. But in general, I tried to avoid it because there's, you know, I didn't like it there anymore. It wasn't like a nice evening out, stuff like that. If I wanted to go somewhere, I typically looked kind of like smaller area centers rather than Manchester city center to go and do my stuff. Like, because, you know, the greater Manchester is kind of like made, like, there's the Manchester city center, and then there's like the surrounding boroughs, surrounding cities, and they each have like their own kind of like shopping centers as well and stuff like that. So last several years I just didn't go to Manchester city center because it was like shit. And then I recently saw what has happened to that place since I moved back home, and God, for fuck me, I wouldn't even, you know, I would not want to step my foot there. It looks horrifying. So ultimately, very, 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 very happy that I moved away. What's it take money-wise a year to live in Latvia? Is the cost of living high? Cost of living is not as high as most of the developed countries, but the wages are smaller too. You know, the grocery prices are, for most part, comparable to the rest of the Europe. Services are cheaper, like buses and stuff like that. Housing's cheaper. Like, you can rent an apartment for like 250 euros a month. Like one two bedroom apartment you can find for like decent one. You can find for like 250 a month, let's say, plus the bills. My apartment is 3 rooms, and it's 350 a month plus bills. So in winter time, it total is like 600 euros, something like that. That's like bills plus the apartment. You know, the rest of the prices are kind of in line with most of the other countries. Services are cheaper, yeah. Like cigarettes and alcohol is cheaper. And 2 bedroom for 450. That is cheaper. Like, it's not like ridiculously expensive, but I wouldn't say it's like cheap either compared to like wages and stuff like that. Whoopsie. No. Europe's like the whole of US. Some places are much more expensive to live than others. Yeah, basically. Latvia is not like on the expensive side. Okay, so cost of living in Latvia. But nature is absolutely beautiful in Latvia. Okay, the cost of living in Latvia is relatively affordable compared to Western Europe, with single individuals potentially spending 700 to 800 euros monthly, including rent. Then costs vary significantly by location. Riga is pricier, and lifestyle expect more budget, around 400 to 600. It's not true. Riga's apartments are not that expensive. That's bullshit. Well, capital city center, yeah, of course, but to live in Riga, yeah. So this is a bit inaccurate, I'd say. Like, you can find a good apartment in Riga for like 1-2 bedrooms for like 350 for sure. Maybe not in the very city center. Utilities 150, high to, not higher than 280. My utilities total in winter for a 3-bed apartment are like 200 something. Groceries, yeah. Transportation, again, that's entirely on you. Inexpensive meal, like this is also like again quite a lot. You can easily find cheapers. Like we have a €5 cafeteria, for instance, that's very nice in our town. Like, yeah, then 15 is already a meal like in a nice restaurant, basically. Fitness club, yeah, that's about €40. So that's approximately that. But yeah, some of the prices are a bit whack, because like €15 for a meal, that's not like living on a budget, that's already like going to a fairly nice place. About freedoms there? Oh, I mean, like, you have all the freedoms. You can be of any religion. We do have like Muslims in the country as well. We do have Russian Orthodox Church, and we do have Catholics, we have Lutherans and Mormons, and you can have any of the faiths. In Capital, I think there is a little bit of Hindu group as well. But in that sense, like, you're free. You can say what you want. Unlike in UK, nobody's gonna knock on your door for a Facebook post. So, yeah. You can say that your politicians suck or are fat. Nobody's gonna raid you. You can talk about like any of the issues. That's fine. It's not freedom of speech is a concept that's exclusively American. It does have its limitations here. Latvia is ranked above average among the world's sovereign states in democracy, press freedom, privacy, and human development. The country has a relatively large ethnic Russian community, which has basic rights guaranteed under the Constitution and international human rights laws ratified by the Latvian government. So, you know, take it for what you will. Freedom of speech is, again, a uniquely American thing. It doesn't necessarily exist in just about anywhere else. Like in Europe, there's such thing as freedom of expression. It does have its limitations. Oh, Russian Orthodox. My parents and some friends who. Yeah, my wife is Russian Orthodox. You moved back to Latvia? Yeah, I moved back to Latvia like a couple of years ago already. I got married in Latvia, dude. Buff rework Electra. The hand month. I mean, to be fair, Electra does need a buff or something. She looks like a homeless pirate. Dude, I wasn't live for like 2 days, and I even said before that I'm not gonna be live for a bit because I have very busy days ahead of me. And on top of it all, I could have been live yesterday, but I had like massive headache. I actually still do, but ibuprofen's kind of taking the edge off. I'll fuck you. I mean, I'll fuck you up. Same people for tweets now. Okay. Yeah, I seen that. So like that's what I'm saying. Like I am so happy I'm not there because like the shit that I have said on my own channel, as non-controversial and normal as I think it is, because at no point I was trying ever to be malicious towards anyone. I can guarantee you they could have thrown me in the locker in UK for that. Because some of the tweets that people got, it's like I don't like immigration. I think it brings up crimes like fucking prison. Like what the fuck? So I was like, I am quite convinced if I had been in UK right now, it's like they could have knocked on my door too. It's not to mention the fact that in last years, as I was living in the UK, I was already kind of like unconsciously starting to censor myself. I was like thinking more and more about what I can and cannot say out loud and stuff like that. I am happy I don't think about that right now. Come on, let's beat up the land. And at first I thought it was just driving and blocking. Gonna see the scary? It is. It is. I'll probably die. So yeah. I mean, like, what's the best way to put it? I don't like it, but I'm happy I'm not there to deal with it right now. I think it's very, very wrong. It wasn't the reason, it wasn't the main reason why I left, but it's just one of the things that kind of makes me feel better about the fact that I'm not living in UK anymore. And it's a shame because, like, again, UK did, like, as a country, UK did nothing wrong to me. Like, it treated me fair, I'd say. I had hard times in UK, I had good times in UK. As a point, I will point out that I never got a single pound in any benefits or assistance in UK. But effectively, I grew up there. I kind of raised myself. I went through a lot of struggle and hardship at the same time, you know. I built relationships there, and I didn't felt that I was, you know, hated or discriminated. But that was like one of the strangest things in UK, because like the longer I lived there, the less welcome I felt, but not because somebody had said or done something to me. It was more so about the issues with immigration that the country was facing. I started to feel guilty as well, because I started to feel out of place. It wasn't a thing initially, but when all the immigration issues became more and more and more and more and more, and I was like, in my head, I was always agreeing with, like, you know, the British population is like, immigration is out of control, and why should the foreigners, like, do this and that? And I'm like, holy shit, you know. At that point, I was already considered to be a resident of UK, and I was, if I wanted to, I could have, like, applied for a citizenship, but, so that was, like, the weirdest thing, where, by no fault of anybody on it, nobody did like anything to kind of like offend me, or at no point really I was kind of get out. Initially, like in latter years when I was like, you know, not young and dumb anymore and not getting into bar fights or stuff like that, nobody like made me feel unwelcome there, but I made myself feel unwelcome in that country because of all the issues with the immigration that the country had. Does that make sense? It was like, it was more creeping in back of my head that this is not necessarily a place where I belong. I hope that made sense. For instance, like all the time living in UK, at no point I thought that anybody in UK should, you know, try to accommodate me and make it more like Latvia or whatever else. And then you see all the, you know, changes happening to the country, and I was like, that doesn't feel right to me, you know, that, because there are like so many places in around Manchester that didn't look like England for like years, and I felt that it's wrong, because, you know, I'm in a different country. It should still be that country regardless of, you know, where the people come there. I don't know. Oh, did I still serve in the video game before GTA 6 is unbelievable. I'm still waiting for MCOC. Well, you're gonna have to keep waiting. But yeah, either way, I'm back home, and I'm happy for it. Can you still do all crafting in your account to get main account? No. That does not work anymore. It's been a few years. Hello, everyone. Well, hello. Taures. How's the immigration problem in UK? It's fucking... It's awful, man. It really is. Like, they have, for whatever reason, the Brits have let in so many people that many areas in the cities and cities themselves are becoming minority British. To me, that is like fundamentally, existentially bad for the existence of the country. You should never do that. No, you can't give Christmas crystals anymore. I really like now how they choose champs they're adding to the game. Yeah, me too, dude. Some of the choices are so random. And like, here's the thing, I don't even really want to harp on the people that are coming there, because like, from like a certain perspective, you can absolutely understand if you're living in a country that's not well off and you have a bad life, you want a better life for yourself. So from the idea of trying to come to a better life, I get it. It doesn't, but the thing that I find an issue is with the government and officials allowing it. Is it like, as a European, the way I feel is like when Latvia joined the European Union and more Latvians went elsewhere to travel and find work and find a better life, including myself, because, you know, I did have money issues and it was not feasible to find work here, and you know, I could go to UK and I could work and I could support my family and whatnot, and, you know, try and build my life. So I get that aspect of it, but the one thing is how you behave in a different country, because I never expected anybody to, like, you know, upkeep my culture and standards, and I didn't expect there to find, like, settlements of Latvian people that we're gonna live the same in Latvia and do everything that, you know, do the Latvian holidays and stuff like that. And also, like, we went there to work, so I lived there for like 13-14 years. I was homeless for a while, but I never still once got any assistance and, like, benefits, stuff like that, for the simple reason, number one, I didn't feel like I deserved any, because, like, I as a young man knew I can work, and I did get, you know, work, and no matter how hard it was, I tried to get work, and I got by somehow. And the other thing is, yeah, it's like I didn't feel like I had deserved the benefits of a country that I hadn't lived in or done anything for. My alternative was, like, either I find a job quick or I'll have to return back home unsuccessful. And yeah. And so yeah, I guess in all of these situations, my main issue is not with the people who are trying to have a better life, even though some of the behavior there that, you know, has been happening is kind of hard to justify, but it's mainly the government, mainly the policies and people enabling it. What's your educational qualification? Oh, like, okay, so finished high school, I got accepted into the best uni in the country, and then unfortunately something happened in America, which was to do with the Lehman Brothers, and kind of like a small global economy issues, and I never finished my degree in law. So that's where I stayed at. But aside from that, I have, like, you know, done plenty of courses and qualifications in regards of warehouse management and administration, and I'm very proficient at, like, Excel and writing macros and crap like that. But I also have qualifications in operating warehouse equipment and whatnot, but obviously that's hardly the direction that you were going for. Does that answer your question? Crazy, I can't find job after diploma in civil. That's like not crazy. It's like one of the things. I know so many people who did finish the degrees and studies and have never worked the job that would associate with the degree. Some of your alliance mates already received compensation shot? Really? Really? I'd like to speak to some of your alliance mates. Big Bad Paul. Because I want that shit. I mean, that is like the running joke. There are companies who expect, 10 years of work experience from a 20-year-old guy. The normal character is mixing popular heroes, got some views and that's Spider-Man, Doctor Doom, Wolverine. Huh? What the? Well, that doesn't sound fair. One second. Give me my shots, game. Give me my shots. Oh, also another thing that I personally kind of enjoy and like. In Latvia, like, basically nobody gives a shit about politics. Like, how in America, it's kind of like, two gangs having at each other and everything's like bandits. And, like, we do have, like, more parties than two. And in general, that kind of has the impact of, because if there's only two big parties in the country, it's always like, if you're not with me, you're against me type of mentality. But since there are, like, more choices and, like, I don't know who my mother voted for in the last elections, and I don't really care, for instance. Because we don't even bother asking. It's kind of like, hey, just like, you go do you. Like, all of them are kind of dickheads anyways. And yeah, that's kind of the thing. That, like, all this, like, political strife and anger, it just doesn't exist in Latvia. What? Kur saldējumi? Kur? Oh, ir tāds, kurš jānogriež. Ir saldēta sula vienas lasā. One second, guys. What? And yeah, so politics is a lot less of a thing in Latvia, which I enjoy, and where was I? Government's also significantly less involved in people's lives. Every now and then they do something, we all get mad and, whatever, but in general, like, you could easily live in this country for many years and don't even know who our president is. Like, because he does nothing, basically. We'll use all units in Banquet? Yeah, probably. I mean, like, what do you grind them for then? Gonna use them all in Banquet and then start grinding for the next Heart of Fire thingy. Probably. God, I miss Baby Quake. Do they cover halls? Nah. I mean, there are some posters somewhere. You can see a billboard here and there. But again, it's not like a massive kind of intrusion type thing. There are some ads, but again, it's not. It's nowhere near as you guys do it. Yeah. Which champs are even left? Well, which champs are even left for Heart of Fire? We can go through class by class if you want, but Tech class, for instance, still has Ghost. Would they release her or not? I don't know, but they do have that. Mutants still have like Mags and Archangel and Kitty Pryde. Cosmic still have Hercules and CGR, which I'm doubtful they would release, but they are there. Mystics still have Clairvoyant. There's their stuff. Science does have Quake, which could only come with a rework though, but Science, I think the only one's Quake. Well, buffed magic is gonna get released differently. We know that. Yeah, buffed magic is gonna be in the Radiant store. God, you're fucking useless. I think the thing that they were afraid of was the buff immunity, but now that we do have Nico, I don't think there's a good reason for them to be afraid of him anymore. Most popular foods in Latvia. Latvians like rustic, hearty meals. We like our potatoes and meat. You know, in fact, it's kind of. I'm not going to say a prerequisite, but for instance, many men in Latvia demand meat in every meal, and that's like a big thing. But when it comes to specific foods, like it depends on area, I would say. One thing that I just realized a couple of streams ago when people asked me is like, we don't really have a big like street food culture. Like we much prefer like cafes and restaurants rather than street food stalls and like burgers and wraps and things like that. For most part in Latvia, yeah, it's what, like proper meals. Don't have a house to take a loan on, so no. Is calling her buff magic really a thing? Magic's gonna rerun. Yeah, I know what you mean. It's gonna be a new champion called Magic, okay? Magic 2.0. That's what it is. I'm not gonna say it's like some of the most popular ones, but for instance, solyanka soup. It's like a Russian food, but it's very, very popular here. I love potato pancakes. Potato pancakes is my favorite food. Sorcerer is broken in this meta. Sorcerer Supreme, you mean the Blue Smurf? It'll be rank 6, 200 Punisher, yes. Yeah, fuck you. Hey, you know what? Like, dude, let me parry you. The fuck? Jesus Christ. Fuck you. For only top 3, yes. Still rank 6 is wild, man. Do I still play the game competitively? Oh, tier 1 wars and celestial level battlegrounds, I don't know. Call it as you will. Oh yeah, I need to... that's fine. Need to get 1 win in here? I do. Rank 6 Serpent, I get it? Yeah, of course. Okay, getting some shots. Oh, right, I need to do that too. That's. I guess I need to do that. But, look at that, 30 more units. This. We can't start at this. Which, let's get at least a few milestones here. Right, guys, at least a few milestones here. How many units have we earned in this stream, you think? Oh wait, shouldn't have dropped that. Ah well, still don't have no Gulag Master, so I might as well drop it. Again, Carolina or Ursul? I don't know, we need to check Ursul's awakening ability. But I'd probably go with Carolina though. Where is that?
Shut up and take my money!
At Scott de Groot 50 South African Rand. You had to ask, LOL.
Well, it's not the same anymore. Thank you. Oh shit, you bastard, die. But thank you very much, Scotty. Look at that. You're number 2 now. I mean, like, you have the 2nd place, is what I meant to say. Too short. It's like 250. Thank you very much, Scotty. Oh, right, yeah. Are you gonna be getting some loyalty 7 stars? I guess I'll grab a few, because there's nothing really to do with loyalty anyways. Unless there's a good reason to save it. I don't know. I think now I have like all the loyalty champions. Top slide red. With Awakening Gems. I mean, I gave Haiyu an Awakening Gem as well, but it was mainly because I couldn't get rid of Science Awakening Gems. Very cool. Yeah, Scotty, you can go like somebody. May I suggest someone? May I suggest someone? I think Jiggly would be a good Gulag candidate. I think that would check out. Alright, Imperiosa's Awakening, by the way, we need to take a look at. Or just do its sig ability. Passes triggers an attack with 30% potency and not from Nullify Stagger Fate Seal. Okay, I don't like that. It's very situational and whatnot. When Imperiosa is auto-blocked, that triggers Synthetic Trap directly under the opponent's. Okay. I don't know. I really don't know how useful that Awakened build is going to be. Which of the main defenders auto-block? He's like high evolutionary, but in general he's not necessarily a problem either. And like there's Modok, but who gives a shit about Modok? Penny? Good against Penny, I suppose? But I have a feeling you do fine against Penny with Pierce and stuff anyways. Oh yeah, because I made you a managing mod, Scotty. I forgot to tell you. It was like a couple of weeks ago. But you're one of the very few head moderators on the channel. So you're basically the upper management now, not the middle management. Does that make sense? Congratulations, Sohan, baby. By Zuben One Mono, nice. Oh, that's awesome. Good on you, Daisies. Most looking. I want Kingpin the most by far. Then I want Abs the most. Then in the box I want Scorpion the most. I'm not particularly interested in X23 anymore. I still want Hulkling. Then Nimrod, I suppose. There's some comment, I think. Yeah, I rank 6th my 6-star, and I must say that I don't think she has it what it takes. I think she's like a cool champion that will be useful situationally and stuff like that. I just don't think that she's gonna be like, you know, in BG decks, unless there's gonna be some specific meta or something like that. You know what I mean? Which is fine. Again, not every champion has to be amazing and insane and crazy, because she still like seems fun, but you know. The region's shit, which I knew from the beginning, but her damage is also not like that exciting, and I don't think her matchup list is gonna be like the best either. And yeah, the speed isn't like there to justify, for instance, running her above like Deadpool X-Force or something. I think like Diabolixide is like the better mutant nuke all around for everything. Don't say what you want out loud. Yeah, you're probably right. Well, the thing with the box is, like, if you open enough of them, eventually you're gonna get all of the champions, so... I suppose that's, like, the good thing. Oh, she's huge? Who's huge? Imperiosa? X23 is an OG, and I want her, I want like mess around with her. I just don't think she's gonna be like that great. Because again, for instance, I love Carnage. I think Carnage is a cool champion. I wouldn't say that, you know, he's great or you should run him. No, like the one thing like I always liked with X23 is like the way she feels to play. It did feel nice. It's kind of like the Guillotine, OG Guillotine, even when she was kind of shit, you know. She always felt like those animations are smooth and satisfying. Where's her regen? She does have the regen, it's just significantly more shit, especially when you're at high health. That's like one of the big issues I have with her as well, because you can't use her regen anymore to top her health off. You can use her like, you know, if you get smacked hard, the regen's powerful, but if you want to use it to kind of like top yourself off, it's not gonna happen, so... I never liked that type of regen, because for competitive game modes, that regen's irrelevant. Really. You know, for like Battlegrounds specifically, that regen's irrelevant. You can take like 10% damage, that regen's going to be like, I don't know, 10 per tick, and you're not going to recover any meaningful amount of health. Which is what you'd want from a regen. So the whole concept of regenerating the missing health. Yeah. But yeah, offensively, you can trigger her regen in 3 different ways. Number 1, when you get hit. Number 2, when you get bled. Number 3 is when you knock the opponent down and stand for like 0.8 seconds. Oh, it's not that you'd get tired, because it's still cool. Like, again, I think X23 is like a fine champion. I just don't think she's good enough. Like, that's about it. Like, again, like if you look at it from like competitive aspect, right? You have Onslaught, you have Jean Grey, and Mr. Sinister. All of those are like dual threat champions that are remarkably capable. Then you do have champions like Dust, Gentle, Cassandra Nova. All of those, on the other hand, are champions that are also dual purpose and, you know, maybe not as great in generic circumstances, but have place and role in the game. Right? Like Dust, definitely, at the very least, a solid defender, and, you know, can be a decent, good attacker, same as Gentle. Very problematic in specific metas for sure. And Cassandra Nova can be annoying too. And all of those are dual purpose champions as well, with already set decently good offensive utilities. Then I'd say the next tier afterwards, there's still like the Dazzler, the Negasonic Teenage Warheads, the Deadpool X-Forces, and whatnot, which for most part all I think are better than the X23. Because X23's damage doesn't seem to be like outshining Deadpool X-Force, for instance. And if you're going to be running a mutant nuke, then that mutant nuke would have to compete with Deadpool X-Force, for example. But I think Deadpool X-Force has the better matchup spread. I think Deadpool X-Force is faster, and Deadpool X-Force is, you know, more established and more versatile. I generally do. Because, you know, you can use him even against the bleed immunes, which you can kind of do with which you can do with X23, I suppose, as well. But the finishing loop is kind of like much better there with Deadpool X-Force, so just go level 2, level 1 done. Yeah, I think Deadpool X-Force also interacts much better with any attack modification, where, you know, any type of Fury supercharges him and stuff. So I can't see X23 outshining those mutant attackers. And not to mention the fact that Deadpool X-Force is like the most visible. Negasonic has become invisible, and Dazzler is hardly to be seen as well. So even if she's like as good as Deadpool X-Force, that already doesn't guarantee her like presence in the meta. Because even Deadpool X-Force being as good as he is, it's not like he's a staple champ to run. So X23 is like Cyclops all about better than before, but kind of, yeah, I'd say so. Probably. Well, again, I'm sure you're gonna be able to do some crazy and cool things with her, and you know there will be situations and instances when she is, you know, good, and you know for a meta or two maybe people will rank her up and use her. But in general, it's not something that. Weapon X seemingly is kind of forgotten recently, but. You reckon you ever face an expansion to and work? Yeah, probably. That's what most of these champions want to do. Yeah. All of them do. Every single one of them want to do. Get a few more milestones. So yeah, I'm quite doubtful on the X23. Orange fellow Hardman? Yeah, he's kind of fallen off. I mean, like, there are still times and places where he can be very good, but... I took Awaken Hood to rank 3 over Unawaken Carol, wondering if I messed up. Don't think of it like that, because you're gonna have a chance to rank up Caroline anyways, so... You know. I have rank 3 some random champs before some, like, much better ones as well for specific reasons. It's not like end of the world, because it's not like you lose that champion. You only have to sacrifice one in order to rank up another. Besides, rank 3s very, very soon are gonna be kind of like... or are already becoming the under-ranked rank. Where you can... like, what's the best way to put it? I just ranked 3 yesterday. Like Cassie Lang for not shits and giggles, but because I just kind of wanted to hit the level up event. I wasn't sure who I'm going to rank up next. I was like, yeah, sure, let's rank up Cassie. You know, I kind of like Cassie. Didn't put that much thought into it because it's rank 3. So... Hood's actually one of the more versatile champions from the previous iteration of the sheet, at the very least. He had a very, very good threat. Lady Thor. Again, that is something that I'll kind of have to disagree. Like, she seems very good for BGs, but is she? Is she really that? She seems okay for BGs, I'll put it like that. Because her match spread is shittier than, let's say, Shatra and whatnot is, and... you watch a video and champion does great, it doesn't mean that they will be like popular or people will use her. Because you can... What the fuck? I was trying to parry the entire fight, dude. He just wouldn't let me. But I for instance, don't think Thor Jane Foster is going to be a very popular BG champion. Spider Supreme? Spider Supreme actually has quite high prestige, if I'm not mistaken. Let me double check for you. He's one of the higher up mystics. Spidey Supreme is spot 20th. He's about like Valkyrie and Dracula and Franken Castle. Spider-Man Supreme is the 20th highest prestige champion in the game. Hold it, it's quite good. so fun. He can be very fun. He's also very scary at rank 6. Sorry, at, you know, rank 4. Top 6 prestige champions at the moment? Sure, just give me a second. If I remember correctly, it'd be High Evolutionary, Onslaught. High Evolutionary, Onslaught, Yelena Belova, Iron Doom, Dark Phoenix, and Shatra are the top 6. 7th is Silver Surfer, 8th is the new Mystic Spidey, 9th is Quicksilver, 10th is what, Baron Zemo? No, 10th is Danny Moonstar. Baron Zemo is, I believe, 11, and then Okoye is 12. Serpent is 13. Forza Arena best quick value for units compared to other arenas. I'll just quick there. I don't know. I just maybe I don't know, because I always do all the milestones in the other arenas, and Forza Arena I do like 1 to 2 million, somewhere 2.5 maybe, and always do the unit milestones in the 2-day arenas because it's an easy 30 unit grab as well there. Yeah, Hood is not good at punching up. Hood is very much not good at punching up. If you have to punch up, he's only good for like very specific things like, you know, Dark Phoenix and stuff. But in general, Hood is definitely not a champion that likes to punch up. Valkyrie and Prestige, we don't know yet. She used to be quite high. Oh no, she's 21st. There you go. You do, 21st. So it's not bad. 4-star takes way longer than 5 and 6-star ones. It's not even close. 4-star takes like 3 or 4 times as long. You get all the milestones, but there's also significantly more units. Research and shit champions. Okay, like don't. There. You can check in before ranking up somebody. I'll do my best to give you a rank up advice. But here's the best way how I choose who to rank up. I generally do not rank up any champion unless I have an immediate need for that champion. It's as simple as that. So for instance, I'm gonna get the Scream. I really wanted Scream. I really liked that champion. And to this day, I haven't ranked up my 7-star Scream because I never needed her. And that helps me realize that, you know, maybe Scream's not that great, or it's not that needed, or I have better options and stuff like that. So I don't. And then, you know, I rank up champions for like specific purpose. For instance, I'm preparing for this next PG season. I'm gonna take a look at which champions are best for that. You know, I knew Jack is gonna be great. I tested that out in off-season. You know, I know Jack for a fact is going to be very, 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 very good for the last meta. Jack's very good right now in the game because he counters Captain Britain, and he makes my deck immediately better. And for the rest of the season that's coming up, I rank up Jack. You know, you kind of get what I mean? Before I do the rank ups, you know, like test and look what's happening in the game, figure out like what's going to be the most useful, and then I try to do the rank ups only then. Can you tell us what makes Mr. Spidey rank 4? Well, first of all, at rank 4, he doesn't go down as quick as the lower ranks. And the second thing that makes Mystic Spidey scary is that he's very, very punishing champion. You make one mistake against him, and you can get screwed. And at rank 4, he can also nuke very hard in specific matchups. So he's a dual threat champion effectively. His biggest weakness is that he can get neutralized very easily if you do have a solid counter to him, because he has a health pool of a fly. But that notwithstanding, unless you have like a good counter, you have to play like very slow and careful against him if you do make a mistake. He's like one of those defenders that's just very, very punishing. If you're gonna throw the wrong combo, he's gonna go invisible at the wrong time or something like that. Poof. Then there are specific metas that, for instance, give you a buff and make him invisible that, you know, increase the level of difficulty. And the scariest thing about rank 4 Mystic Spidey is, number 1 is that it's very easy to make a mistake against him and get smacked in the face. And number 2, he also can be very nuky under specific circumstances. And I think Fintech had a very, very good Mystic Spidey video where he has like significantly higher matchup list than you'd think. For instance, Mystic Spidey is like a very good domino counter, and Mystic Spidey can do like all sorts of different random fights that you would necessarily think he's good at. But yeah, he's literally a glass cannon. It entirely depends on your skills, but you know, that's why it's kind of so scary. Both for offense and defense. It's kind of like rank 4 Hitmonkey is scary. You know? Because rank 4 Hitmonkey, if opponent gets like a half decent matchup, you ain't beating that speed. Because, you know, Hitmonkey is gonna nuke very fucking fast. The other thing is, you know, if opponent throws down a defensive desperation Hitmonkey and you get caught by him, you know, half your health pool's immediately gone. Because he's, you know, guaranteed to crit you, basically. And it's similar to the Mystic Spidey. Not necessarily a champion that's gonna be like the best at many specific things. It's just one of those that you don't face him a lot. So you're not kind of like locked in when you need to be fighting him most of the time, because he's not like a mainstream type of champion that you see a lot. But you know, that's one of the type of champions that I personally often ban in the BGs, because I don't fight him enough to remember all of his matchups exactly, what he can and cannot do. And I don't remember, you know, I kind of remember how to fight him, but I'd rather not do that in Battlegrounds, if that makes sense. Do you know what I mean? Oh yeah, and he's crazy nuke in some specific metas. Like any meta where opponent gains a ton of buffs, he can be crazy. So that's why he's scary. And yeah, he's one of those champions that you either need to be very good at fighting him or have a precise counter. He's also definitely a champion that's significantly scarier. Like, I wouldn't say that he's like mega intimidating, like super high tier Celestials, but in kind of like slightly lower level Battlegrounds, I bet you'd get exponentially better results. Because it's one of those fights where, like, with enough skill, you can kind of outskill it and stuff like that. But if a player does not know exactly what Mystic Spidey does and how to fight him, they're gonna have a very, very rough time. So, that's ultimately why he's scary. Hope I answered your question to a satisfactory degree, my friend. Yeah, I hate fighting Mystic Spidey too. No, he wasn't asking about poetry, because he talked about Sith Supreme before. Alright, let's see where we're at. Okay, let's grab all of this. Am I doing another BG stream before the meta switch? I might do, actually. I don't know. We'll see how time permits. We'll see the homework situation for a young gentleman in the room next door. I will be doing a stream today. Yeah. Have we grabbed all of that? Did we grab all of this? No. Look at that, that's a hefty chunk of units we have already earned, right? Special volume crystal. Okay. We. Let's get some. 15 units, that's something. I'll take it. I'll take it. 0 units, I don't want to take it. Give me back my chips. 15 units, not great, but I'll take it. 0 units, awful, awful. Disgust me. Okay, this is definitely not a great time for units for me. Come on, really? Can't do me like that. Okay. But yeah, I'm happy with this. Anyways. Oh. Oh. We got some more units here, though. Oh, I need to get those back up. Cosmic Invasion? What did I do? What is that even? Alright, anyways. I haven't checked out the Cosmic Invasion thingy. What do you offer? Valiant Nexus crystals. Tier 5, tier 6 CCs. Six-star signature stones is like the top prize, really? Alright, fine. Anyways. That's it. Very much so done with this stream today. Hope you guys enjoyed it. We'll be back later. Bye-bye. Hello there, guys, and welcome back to the channel. So, we have